Coventry going. There's the shot, it's another one! David Smith, 2 goals in 90 seconds. Nigel Spink, the hero of the first half, hits the ball out of the net again, and Villa are in deep trouble.
Good ball too, Gallagher's got 3 again. Oh, what a goal! Two in the space of a minute for Kevin Gallagher.
Salaka on the Coventry left. Great goal. Dion Dublin. Classic header. No more than Coventry deserve. They've been knocking at the door, and now they've found the way through.
It goes towards Best. It's 1-0 to Coventry. The man in the mask has broken the deadlock.
Jamie Allen threads the ball through. Fantastic finish from Matty Gordon. Barely 90 seconds gone.
Can't hear, can't sound, muted.
Hello, very good evening to you. Sorry about that. I might have missed you, but I had the mute button on. Very good evening to you all. Welcome to Sky Blue Fans TV. I've got 3 guests with me tonight. I'm live actually from Skegness, believe it or not, of all places. I'm down here for the weekend, so I was in Blackpool with Tony, of course, last weekend for a fantastic win. I'm now in Skegness, which is wet and windy at the moment. But we're going to talk about the Sky Blues' next 8 games and their playoff chances, and basically where we all think we're going to finish at the end of the season. I'm going to introduce a new guest for us, Alan. Good evening. All the way from Dublin, I believe. Yes.
Yeah. Not too far away.
No, not too far. It's only over the water. Tell us a bit about how long you've been supporting the Sky Blues then, and how did you get to come to support the Sky Blues? Is it within the family or?
Unfortunately, not. No.
Oh right.
A lot of my mother's, both my mother and my father's side are all Liverpool supporters.
Right. Okay.
I have to admit, up until I was about 11 or 12, I was a big Liverpool fan. Back in the 70s when Steve Highway was playing, obviously there was always a good Irish contingent at Liverpool, and well, we've a couple of Irish lads now in the Sky Blues at the moment, but wouldn't mind seeing a few more. But this is going to sound bizarre, but I remember I always watched Match of the Day. I was playing schoolboy football. Used to sit in Saturday night, loved to watch it, and remember Coventry were on. This was back in 1983, and just for no particular reason, I was watching them and I said, I like this team and I'm going to support them. I know. I mean, there's no connections or nothing like.
Okay.
And it's funny because the guy who set up the Irish Supporters Club was the same, because I met him and the lads, and I said, how did you come to support Coventry? You know, I thought maybe you had any relations or knew of anybody, and he was the same. He just said, I just decided for one reason. He didn't know, he said he was watching Match of the Day or whatever, but that there was no particular reason. But obviously I've been a staunch supporter since. I've watched them all the time, try to get over games every 2 or 3 games if I can a year, especially this year. Now I've got this, as I said, this will be my 4th game coming over. I'm trying to get a few people from work. I brought 8 people over with me last for the Sunderland game, and now they're all watching Coventry now. They're all in the office. In the office, they're all saying to me, they're watching out for them. You know,
the more the merrier, mate. The more the merrier. Okay,
exactly.
we'll come back to you again in a minute, Al. We'll just introduce our next 2 guests. We've got Mark Smith, who's our regular host on the Sky Blue Fans TV. Evening, Mark. How are you?
Evening, Kenneth. Evening, everyone. How are we doing?
How's Bedfordshire? Is it wet and windy?
It's glorious. It's
is it?
Glorious? Yeah, glorious bad.
Good. And of course, Tony from Nation Radio in Coventry. Good evening, Tony.
Hi everyone. Hi Kim.
Hi. Last time I seen you, you were in Blackpool town, and it was very good.
Ken, the last time I seen you, we walked in a chip shop in Blackpool.
That's right. You ordered your fish.
And you said to me, I'm going back to the Castle pub, right? Did you go back? The question is, did you go back there?
I didn't quite make the Castle pub. No, I went back to the Manchester in the end, but I didn't quite make it back to the Castle, unfortunately. But it was a good weekend. It was a good weekend had by all, wasn't it?
What a weekend.
Yeah, and
absolutely brilliant.
Great result.
We don't tend to play them much on a Saturday, Blackpool, and because over the last few years when we've played them, it's always been midweek, hasn't it? So it was nice to get them on a Saturday game in a decent weather, because it was quite a nice day actually during the day, wasn't it? A bit chilly at night, but it was a bit windy at night, but during the day it was brilliant. Yeah, it was lovely. But we'll come back to that in a minute. We'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. We're going to talk. We've got 8 games left basically after that victory against Blackpool, which has left us back in the mix again. We all thought. I know you did, Mark, didn't you? You thought it was all over, didn't you? A couple of weeks ago.
I thought after West Brom away, I thought it would be pretty hard.
Yeah.
But then we played Luton, we got the draw, and I remember Carl McFadden speaking on CWR, and he said, "We need to get on the run now." You know, it was the first thing he said. Look, we're capable of getting on the run, and push, put a challenge in. And since then, we've been unbeaten. So definitely possible to get the playoffs. Can we get the playoffs? We can do. Do I think we will? I'm not so sure. I think every game's going to be tough. It's going to be a cup final. As the old cliche goes, but we're in a great position. We're only 3 points behind Millwall, who are 6th. I guess the only slight concern maybe is West Brom have got a game in hand on us, I think now. But it's going to be. I think the great thing about last week was not just the fact we won at Blackpool, but the margin of victory. The fact we scored a goal difference of +3 in that game. Yeah. Now we've got a better goal difference from Millwall. I think maybe even better than Norwich actually. So there's a lot to be optimistic about. But look, we'd take, given the start we had to the season, you'd take where we are now. As someone said to you, we have 8 games to go, that we're within 3 points of a playoff spot. I think everyone would be quite happy about. So, fingers crossed we can get there. It'll be brilliant because we did reasonably well last season, and we finished about halfway. It'd be nice if we can get 10.
Yeah, I mean the good thing is also that a lot of the teams above us have got to play each other, haven't they? And we've got quite a reasonable run in, haven't we?
Yeah, we have, but there are some hard games there. I think we've got Watford at home, who they're not won since January, but won't be easy. But we have beaten them, in fairness. Blackburn away won't be easy, but we're capable of going there and getting a result. And obviously, last game of the season is Middlesbrough, and we all know what Middlesbrough are like. They've been obviously when we played them at just the right time, didn't we? When we beat them 1-0,
yes, we did.
They were pretty awful, but. Since Carrick's
changed the man. Carrick's gone and he's done a brilliant job, hasn't he, Middlesbrough? Yeah. I thought he's done a fantastic job there, and I thought I wouldn't be surprised if he got them automatic. To be fair, I think they'll take over Sheffield United and the way they're playing.
I think the thing is is if we did get to the playoffs, that's a big if, of course, and if we finish 6th. Who would you rather play? Would you rather play Borough or would you play Sheffield United with 2 legs? I'd rather play Sheffield United with 2 legs out of 2. Because I think Sheffield United, for me, are a decent side, but I didn't think they were fantastic. I think Borough now, they look a really good team. Yes, we played them. I know we beat them at the CBS early in the season, but this is a much different Borough side now. So I would rather play Sheffield United over 2 legs. Because I think over 2 legs, on our day, we can beat them. If we keep like Hamer, Gyökeres, Sheaf, those sort of guys fit amongst others, then we've got a fantastic chance. So that's just my view.
Yeah, I'll probably agree with you there. Alan from Dublin, how do you see? How do you see the run in with these 8 games?
Well, I would have been a bit more optimistic. Well, obviously a delight with the result against Blackpool, and plus the other games went their way. The other teams around us, I think, all dropped points, which was great, especially with Millwall. Stoke are on a good run as well. That's not going to be an easy game.
They are.
you know, a couple of weeks back, I would have thought that, you know, I'd be confident with 3 points for that game. But I don't know. I think that's going to be, it'll be a tough game, Stoke. I'd take a draw with that game. Swansea aren't doing great at all. So I'd expect, I know we're away from home as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's easier said than done. But
it's always a difficult. I mean, we got beat there last year, didn't we, at Swansea? So it's a difficult place to go.
Yeah, yeah. Then looking at the other games, Watford at home, we had a great result away to them. They're not on the best of form either. You know, they're not scoring a lot of goals. I was just looking at the last results as well. Like they drew at Wigan 1-1.
Yeah.
Now, sorry, they did beat Birmingham 3-0, but prior to that, like they were only 1 goal game. So I take a draw, I suppose, at home to Watford. QPR are abysmal, you know, on form. Yeah. You know,
terrible at the moment, aren't they?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the way they kick on, like, I mean, I think they were lucky they had like the first half of the season that they had a good first half of the season, and just, you know, it's just, I can't believe how bad they've done second half. So I'd expect us to go there and beat them. Then Blackburn away. Going to be
another difficult one. Blackpool,
yeah.
I mean, we can beat them. I think we're better than them personally, but it's away, and you know they've got a decent side, to be fair. So
yeah,
down to on the day, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping, because it's a game after that, I'll be over at the Reading game, and I'm hoping we'll still have something to play for by then. You know, Reading, Birmingham at home. Yeah, they're 6 pointers, I think. You know, and hopefully we're still in the running, and if we get those 2 wins, and you know, you never, with Middlesbrough, they may have been you never know at that stage. Last game of the season, they could have been automatic promotion. They're definitely guaranteed in the playoffs anyway. So by that stage, I don't think there'll be as much pressure on them. Well, hopefully it won't be a case where they need to beat us to get second spot, you know.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping, that it'll all be tied up with them, and hopefully they might rest a few players. But we can't really think that way, I suppose, until it gets near the time, can it? Because a lot can happen between now and then, can't it?
Yeah.
So, Tony, Nation Radio, Tony, where do you see the next 8 games? Do you think?
I think we've got better away form than we have at home at the moment. I think CBS could be our downfall. I think Stoke City, let's put it this way, we're capable of beating every one of them teams.
Yeah.
On our day, right? I can see Stoke City being a draw. I can see that one. I think we'll get beat at Swansea, because they're like Preston. We've got such a bad record at Swansea. I can't remember when we've ever won there. Have we? Have we ever won there?
If we have, it's a long time ago. I can't remember offhand recently. But...
however, I can see wins at Blackburn, QPR. I can see us beating Reading.
Birmingham,
I can see us beating, and we're capable of going to Middlesbrough. I mean, we had a brilliant display at Middlesbrough last season, and we lost 2-0.
Yeah,
and Middlesbrough they were the best team. Well, I was in a hotel, funny enough, at Blackpool the hotel, and he was a Burnley season ticket holder. The guy that run the hotel, he'd moved from Burnley a year ago, and his wife was from Blackburn. And he turned around to me, he said, I'm not being funny, he says, but the best teams that have been for Burnley this season were Coventry City and Middlesbrough. And he said
best teams that play.
They're at Burnley. They're the only teams that give us a game. So we are capable of going to Middlesbrough and winning, there's no doubt about it. I just think it's the home form that's going to let us down. Maybe we need to fill the CBS. We need to get it filled.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to bring that up about the ticket prices. I mean, they're charging £33, which is, I think, it's way too much for the casual fan. You know, people haven't got a season ticket and they want to get up there for the next, the 4 home games that we've got left.
Why can't they drop it?
Yeah, they should. 20 quid.
I think the Reading game is 25. I paid 33 for the last game, which was the Sunderland game. But I went to book the ticket.
Category games, aren't they? So,
okay.
But, I mean, depending on who you're playing, but
Yeah.
I don't think personally they should be charging any more than £25. To be fair,
You see, Birmingham City
maximum.
Birmingham
That's a Cat A game.
Category, yeah, because they're local derby. But
yeah, I don't know what the Watford game is. That might be a Cat A as well, because they're up there.
yeah, that will be.
Yeah,
That's
another game.
Stoke will be.
Yeah, £33 too much, isn't it? I mean, I don't know why the club don't to get the home, especially at home, to get the ground full. They should drop the prices. Personally, I think they should. I think £33 far too much. And I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of the category game. Are you a big fan of the category games, Mark? You know, Cat A, Cat B, Cat C. I'm not. I prefer just across the board.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I mean, I guess the way you look at it though is the money's going into the football club, isn't it?
Yeah,
I agree. I agree that for a casual fan who can't afford a season ticket, I mean, I can. I'm lucky, but there's plenty of people out there who can't. The £33 is a lot of money to ask. I mean, if you've got a family of 4, typically, that's that, and then include your food, your drink. That's over £100 for your day out, which is
it's far too much.
It's a lot of money, and particularly with the cost of living crisis and the price of everything's going up. I think it's something the club needs to look at the start of next season. They could have. It's a difficult one because I mean the thing is they set their stall at the start of the season by saying £33. They have to live and die by the stall. I mean, maybe the odd game you could have you could reduce the prices, but then I mean we're getting 20,000, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think the club needs to review it. But on the other side of things, the club are making money, but. Yes, they could probably get. I mean, they could probably get an extra 5,000-6,000 if they reduce their prices, I imagine. But it would be nice to see a full arena. Where we haven't had a game at full ground since Chelsea in the FA Cup in the quarterfinals.
Exactly. I just think. I just think it'd be better reducing the price and get bums on seats if you like.
We did.
Sell more program. Yeah, Gillingham pound, even kids for £1 or something like that.
Ken, how did they decide the category for what team goes in?
I don't. That's a good question because I don't know how they decided. I presume it's by looking at it. It looks like the teams that have come down from the Premier League, plus the local derbies, are all.
Well, you can understand then with Burnley being automatically they're already promoted, but them coming down, as you say, being a Category A game. But what if we were playing them at home towards the end of the season and they were in the bottom half? Would they still consider it a Category A game?
No.
Well, yeah. Exactly.
But I think the category games are announced at the start of the season. They say they base it probably on how many fans they're going to bring, because the likelihood is if you play something like West Brom are going to bring 3,000 or 4,000, or Sunderland are. But if you're playing, Huddersfield Town, someone like that, they're probably not going to bring 3,000 or 4,000. They might bring 1.5, 2 at most.
Yeah.
So I think what I will say in the club's defence, however, is I think with the Junior Sky Blues pricing, that is really good.
I agree with that. Yeah,
I've got my niece's season ticket, £25. Brilliant. I'm okay, she's under the age of 13, but it's still really good value. And I think they do a brilliant job for kids. It's just a case of, can the adult afford a season ticket? Because we're looking at. I mean, obviously we paid for 3, 4, 5 this season, but the likelihood is it's going to be probably around £400, isn't it, next season? But obviously that's the club to make. But that's the problem, isn't it? It's can people starting to become more unaffordable. I mean, for lots of the working class fan. But in terms of the category price, I think I'd like to see more of a flat fee. I think £20 to £25 around that sort of figure, I think is enough. I think definitely £20. I think £20. Then people haven't got an excuse, have they? You could probably get crowds for at least 25,000. We're a big club, but I think the gates have been okay this season, but it's always about 10,000 empty seats, isn't it? Every game.
Yeah, and it's not. It doesn't look good, does it, on the telly when you see all these empty seats? It's a bit annoying, you know. Sorry, Tony, go on.
I think what we also forget is that these prices were set by Sisu, the previous owners. So maybe Doug King will come in with a different price structure come next season. We don't know. It's all up in the air. But I think majority of clubs are charging the same, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of clubs that are quite cheap. That was quite cheap for away days for us. That weren't too bad, quite reasonable. But obviously, there is a couple like QPR, for example, where they're going to come up in a couple of weeks' time. They're £33 or even more. I think they're £36 actually.
37. 37.
Okay, worse. Might as well just make it 40.
Well, round figure.
I know London prices are bad. That is bad, really. That is bad.
I think just one other thing I want to add to it, though, is obviously there's two things. First of all, Doug King's got to, agree with a new lease with Mike Ashley because that hasn't been formally announced yet. Assuming that does happen, the next thing is what's the rent situation going to be like for the ground? So it's all very well us sitting here saying we'd like it to be £20, but if the rents go up, then they've got to make their money somehow. So that's the only thing I would say against. I'm just playing devil's advocate, but you have to think when Doug King has to make those sort of decisions. So it might be that we have to charge more money for the fair weather fans, so to speak. But in order to make money, because into the day, Doug King hasn't come to the club to make a loss. We're in the club. He bought the club and he's wiped off the debts, and now, it'd be nice if we as fans can help, contribute towards, the successful running the club. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with anyone, but I'm just putting the other point of view across.
Yeah, we get promoted then, and what sort of price tickets it would be then,
Wow.
The average ticket in the Premiership game is what, £60 or something?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's for a rubbish seat at Arsenal, probably, or something like that.
Probably, yeah. Well, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Because when the season tickets do go on sale, they normally put them on sale before the end of the season, don't they? They give you the prices, But obviously, with us being in the playoff situation, and now's the right time to buy one, I think, isn't it? You're not going to.
Yeah, I believe the away tickets in the Premier League have agreed between all clubs. They've been capped at £30 for the away tickets in the Premier League.
So why? So if they do it in the Premier League, why can't they do it? Why can't they do it in the Football League?
I think the thing I say about it is Premier League. You've got clubs who've got far bigger budgets. They get a lot of money. Not being funny, Championship is a different kettle of fish. I know it's one division below, but it's not the same as the Premier League, is it? Premier League clubs could afford to reduce their prices. Can a club like ourselves? Can we afford to do that? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. I
think we can if we're promoted.
We've got to get there first. That's the thing. We've got to get there first, But maybe we could do, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, it is, and it'd be interesting to see what Doug does. Whether he gets rid of all the old Sisu rules and regulations, if you like, pricing structures and stuff like that, and brings his own marketing team in and stuff like that, which he may well do, and then make decisions himself, business-wise. Regarding the club going forward and pricing and stuff like that, so it might work out a lot better for us. We'll have to wait and see on that one, I suppose. We've got to play it by ear, haven't we? Let's just have a look at some of the comments that are coming in. Evening all, hope everybody's well. David, yes, good evening, David. Scobler Sam watching England tonight, but still presuming after the win at Blackpool. Yeah, we all are, mate. We all are. Covandy, evening chaps. Scobler Sam, Skeg Vegas. Been on the 2P machines. No, I haven't actually, mate. It's too wet and windy. Sorry about that. I haven't been on there yet. Maybe tomorrow.
England have just scored.
Are they? Oh, they have, yes. 1-0 England.
England scored.
Who scored it?
It's Harry Kane, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh.
No, Foden.
Foden. Oh. Well, okay. 1-0 England. Wow. Underage COD fan. Hope Blackpool stay up, so we don't going to have to. Also, we can have them play them again next season. Yeah, I hope they do as well. To be fair, I hope they stay up, and so do you, Tony. Don't you?
So I'd like to go to Blackpool as well, away.
Oh yes, I'm sure. I'll tell you what, it was a brilliant.
We'll go to Bournemouth. We'll go to Bournemouth if they go there.
Yeah, Bournemouth, Southampton, Danny Drury, hi guys, evening. We've got quite a few coming in. Pressure all on Millwall, Blackburn, Watford, and West Brom. We have missing to lose, which is true. Scoring goals from other areas now, not so relying on Vic. Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's a good point there, because Big Vic's, as we know, is getting a bit manhandled, isn't he, at the moment? And I think we can all probably agree he was lucky to stay on the pitch against Blackpool, wasn't he? When we've seen it back. I mean, I didn't really see much of it to start with. But when we look back at the video of it, I've seen red cards given for them. But, I mean, Ben Sheaf's obviously come up with a few goals. Well, he scored on Saturday. I think it's important, don't you think, Alan, it's important that other players in the team start scoring from midfield? Like Hamer, for example, he could do a few more goals.
Definitely, yeah. It was good to see Ben Sheaf back as well.
Yeah, it makes a difference when he's playing, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're still punching above our weight with I feel, you know, with I mean, Palmer when he came in the club, you know, I mean, the jury was out on him. I mean, wasn't he injured a lot before he came over? He hadn't much game time.
Fitness wise, yeah.
I mean, but the games I've seen him playing, I thought he was great. I mean, he really he doesn't give players a second on the ball. You know, he closes down. Yeah. And where he, you know, the amount of ground that he covers in games, like, but yeah, I was sorry to see him get injured. But yeah, Hamer, well, Allen out as well. Yeah, there's a bit more. You know, I'd like to see Bidwell on the wing. You know, he had a couple. Yeah. You know, there's a couple of games. The last few games, he had some really good opportunities, and I think he got stage fright and just broke.
Yeah.
Blazed it over the bar, you know. I was a left full myself, but I didn't get nosebleeds when I went into the opposition's half. But yeah, I mean, and I'd like to see more as well from Norton Cuffy. You know, he's got good skill, good pace on him. You know, just a little bit more confidence, get in the box and not just be crossing balls in, but trying to get in, cut inside, and take shots as well. You know.
He's only a young lad as well, Cuffy, and the other guy from Manchester City. They're only young lads, aren't they? So they're only going to get better. I was going to ask you, being an Irishman, what do you think of McNally has came in playing at the back?
You know, I'm glad you asked me that. I think he's been brilliant.
Yeah,
you know, I was obviously Ireland were playing a friendly last night against Latvia. First 20 minutes we were 2-0 up, and then Latvia came back. Anyway, final score was 3-2. Stephen Kenny rested, you know, a few players because we're playing France on Monday, which is obviously a massive game. So he wanted to give a few players a run. But I would have liked to see Luke McNally get a call up. I've a WhatsApp group with a few lads, and we were watching the game, and I put a post in. I said, lads, watch out for Luke McNally. He's on loan from Burnley or Coventry. He's having a great season so far. You know, I can see him getting into the Irish squad. And one of the lads posted back and said he was talking to his father the other day, and his father was, you know, telling him he's enjoying his time at Coventry, and you know he's loving it, and didn't give anything away as to say whether or not, you know, he's going to. But it all depends on what happens with the company at Burnley if he
that's right.
Decides to take him back.
Yeah, I think I mean, if Burnley go up, I think we'll have great chance.
I've signed him, yeah.
I really do.
I hope we do, yeah.
And Dom Hyam obviously got called up to the Scotland squad, didn't he?
I heard that, yeah. He's doing well.
And I think he's better than Dom Hyam, personally.
So do I, yeah. And not just because he's Irish.
Yeah, but, I personally do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Sorry,
carry on, Al. Go on, carry on.
No, just as well for he's well, actually thought he was about 21, but I think he's actually 23. You know, but you know, for his age as well. I just think he's confident on the ball.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't ever be phased when he's on the ball. That's what I like about him, and he's good with ball at his feet, and obviously the height. He's good in the air as well. So,
he reads the game. He reads the game so well, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah. So fingers crossed he'll be with us for
Tony?
more seasons.
Tony, what do you think, McNally? Do you think he's been one of my players of the season so far? Well, for the last since he's been here in January.
Definitely. Do you know, he reminds me of young Alan Hansen.
Yeah.
Sweeping up, he sweeps up all the rubbish, and he gets on the end of headers. Not a lot's got past Luke McNally since he's been in, and I think we should go all out to try and sign him. Realistically,
yeah, I do.
You know? He's Burnley are definitely going up, so he'll be surplus to requirements in the Premier League. I've heard quotes of 2 million to get Luke McNally, but then it depends if the player wants to come at the end of the day, and if there's any better offers on the table for him.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke to him. Well, you were there as well, weren't you, at the fan store?
Yeah.
And he's very level-headed, isn't he? When we spoke to him, we interviewed him at the tavern, and he's really level-headed, and he's a good laugh as well. He was telling us he scored a hat-trick on his debut.
Do you remember him saying he wasn't going to reveal to you because you had that camera pointing at him? Remember?
Yeah.
He told you to turn it off.
Yeah, he had something to say, but he said, "Oh, with cameras here, we can't say." So,
yeah.
But he was a good laugh. He was a good laugh. He's very level-headed for his. You know, he's
great player.
You know, the fans took to him, and I think he will only get better as well. As one of them players will only get better. Yeah. And I think personally, myself and Mark, I'm sure you'll agree. I think he's a level above Hyam. I think he's above Hyam.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's better. I prefer him to Panzo as well at the back.
Yeah.
Well, Panzo, to be fair, started quite well, but he was a bit erratic in the last few games.
No, he was, wasn't he? Yeah.
I think his last game I saw him play was at West Brom, and he was pretty poor that game. But yeah, no, he's McNally's a quality player. I think he's reading the game. Position is really good, and him and Carl McFadzean as a duo, as well as Callum Doyle, probably the best three back defenders we've had this season. But also, I think our defence are one of the strongest in the Championship. I think statistically, I think there's only about 2 or 3 other teams that have conceded fewer goals. I know one of them is obviously one's Burnley, but I think Leeds is the one, and I think we're about the third or fourth. So that says a lot. It says a lot about the fact that, you know, defensively we've been a lot better this season than last season. Last season we did concede a lot of goals. But this season has been a lot better. I mean, going back to the conversation about, you know, do we sign McNally or not? Of course, I'd love to see him sign, but what if the scenario was, you know, Burnley want Gyökeres? You know, would you entertain a swap of McNally for Gyökeres? I mean,
well, I can see. Funny you say that. I can see that coming. I can see Burnley sniffing around Big Vic and saying, "Well, if you want McNally, then you know we want Big Vic," sort of thing. So we'll have to do a deal. I can see that happening. I really can, because they'll be looking for new players when they do eventually go up.
Yeah, I don't want to see Vic leave. None of us do, but we have to. No. You know, he wants to play. He's already said publicly he wants to play at the highest level, and then there's nothing wrong with that. It's ambition. You know, there's nothing wrong with any player being ambitious. And in fairness to him, he's earned that right to have that opportunity because he's been brilliant for us. Certainly, not just this season, but last season as well. But that's a scenario that I could see happening. But I think McNally would be brilliant if we. You know, I'd love to see him at the club next season. I'd like to see. Well, obviously, our key players sign new contracts. Gas Hamer's another one. You know, he's out of contract in 24, so we've got to look at things like that. I think Sheik's out of contract in 24.
Yeah.
I think O'Hare might be out of contract in 24, but you know, it's not just Vic. There's other key players in the squad that we need to tie down for the summer. But yeah, McNally, going back to McNally, he's been brilliant. He's an 8 out of 10 every player, and you know, I think for Tony to compare him to Alan Hansen, he was a brilliant defender, brilliant player. Just tell the same story because Hansen was just. I mean, I remember him. I mean, I was just about old enough to remember Hansen, but yeah, he was he was again an excellent read of the game, and he just swept things up and a no nonsense player.
Yeah, another one, an old player was Gary Gillespie. You remember him, won't you, Tone? Gary Gillespie.
Yeah, another one. Yeah, he ran on to Liverpool as well. Played with Hansen in the back four.
He was a similar sort of player. Yeah,
I could have said Gary Gillespie, to be fair.
Yeah,
we got him from Falkirk. I remember Falkirk.
That's right. You're right. We did get him from a fantastic player.
He played darts for the Wallace.
Yeah. Right, okay, we're going to have a short break and we'll be back in a minute. We'll talk a bit more in a couple of minutes and we'll have a short break. Hello, welcome back to Sky Blue Fans TV. We're talking everything Sky Blue here, of course, and we're just talking about players in form. With Nally, we were just on about, and we're on about our last 8-game run-in, which is quite favourable, I think, with the 8 games we've got left. I was going to ask you now, if you're going to take a picture of player of the season, I mean, with 8 games to go, who stood out for you, Alan? This season for you, who stood up for you? I know there might be quite a few, but if you were to vote now, who would you vote for?
Well, if McNally had been in at the start of the season on form, he's played about 15 games since coming on. But every game he's played, he's been great. Obviously, McFadzean, and you know what, I have to hold my hands up. I thought at the end of last season, I didn't think McFadzean would be up for another season. I thought he wouldn't, getting on age-wise. I thought he'd be caught out, but he's surprised me, so he'd be another one that I would say is up there for player of the season. Obviously, Gyökeres. I mean, I love Gyökeres, but sometimes he does frustrate me. There's sometimes this, when you're watching him playing, it's like he doesn't keep his head up. He's looking at his feet all the time, and you're thinking, looking at times he tends to overplay it. But look at the return he's got, the goals he's got. But 19 goals so far, and I'm sure he get hopefully another good few between now and the remaining 8 games. But just from time to time when I'm watching him, sometimes I got a friend of mine watches me and he's always saying the same thing. He said, why doesn't Gyökeres get his head up and look sometimes a bit earlier to pass the ball inside? And he kind of overplays it, but then he does something great. He manages to get into a situation where he can square the ball eventually, but you think that the chance is gone. But obviously, so Gyökeres, McFadzean and McNally.
They would be your top 3, would they?
Yeah, Jesus, like I said, it's hard to just pick one or even 3. Hamer, leaving Hamer out as well. I just couldn't put. It's hard to just pick one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tony, where would you be looking if you were going to select a player this season?
Well, I can tell you now, Big Vic's going to win it. Big Vic's going to win it hands down. He'll win player of the season without a shadow of a doubt. I just think Luke McNally hasn't been at the club long enough to get there.
Yeah.
Carl McFadzean, what a player. The defence in it. So Carl McFadzean is the closest, I think, to Big Vic at the moment. Fantastic. Ben Sheaf's done well. I also, I think Ben Wilson's been good as well.
Yeah,
the defence. He's made some important saves.
Well, with all his clean sheets, I mean, the stats don't lie, do they? He's been tremendous. So the whole back four, really, or the back three, if we play back three, and the goalkeeper done well.
I think Player of the Year, Big Vic's going to win it hands down.
Yeah, you're probably going to be right. Mark, I'm sure you're going to go for Big Vic, are you?
Yeah, I was thinking Hamer. I think it's thinking him and Vic, Hamer and Gyökeres for me. But
yeah,
I'm just looking at stats actually. Gyökeres 19 goals, 8 assists. So he has the highest number of assists in the club statistically this season.
Right.
Gus Hamer scored 6 goals and 6 assists.
Yeah.
My personal opinion would be Hamer, and the reason why is because I think he had a slightly shaky start with a couple of reds, but since he's been back, he's been absolutely fantastic. Not just his attacking play, his defensive play has been really good. Tracks back well, puts tackles in. He would be mine, but Gyökeres has been amazing as well. You know, he's probably his best ever season for the club. You know, 19 goals, highest number of assists. I think he will be the overwhelming favourite to win this season's Player of the Year, and hopefully the best is yet to come this season from everyone, because there's still 8 games to go, as we know, and fingers crossed things happen. But I think other players of note, yes, I totally agree with McNally. For McFadzean and McNally at the back have been brilliant. Callum Doyle has really grown into football this season. Jamie Allen's had a much better season than last season. He's scoring goals. He's had a couple of assists. He's done well. She's been steady. Another decent season. Wilson, you can't knock the number of clean sheets. I think there's been some games he's been a little bit caught out positionally, but you can't knock the fact that he has kept 16, 17 clean sheets this season. So that's pretty decent. So there's a lot of positives this season from the squad, and that's the thing. I think Jake Bidwell's another player. I think has improved a lot. I think when he first came, people were like, "Why have we signed him? He doesn't seem to suit our system." And he's probably naturally a better centre half, actually, as part of a 3. But he's done a really good job on the left hand side, because there was a bit of a gap, a void after Ian Maatsen left us. We lacked that sort of natural creativity on the left hand side, but I think he's done well. But overall, there's a lot of positives this season. All the players I've mentioned have all been great. I'd probably say Gyökeres will win it overall, but my personal preference would be Hamer. But that's everyone's got their own take on it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, my problem with Hamer, fantastic player, he just needs to score a few more goals. I think Hamer, he didn't score enough goals for me for midfielder. He should score a lot more. Especially, he's a good free kick taker and stuff like that. He's had a couple of opportunities with free kicks and stuff, hasn't he? But he hasn't had much luck, But he scored a couple of decent goals this year. But he should score a lot more. I just think he should just score a lot more. I would probably say Big Vic's going to be up there, and I probably agree with most people on here. McNally, Big Vic, and McFadzean has been fantastic, considering he missed a couple. Well, we know how bad we missed him when he was out injured, don't we? Because he was injured for a few games, and we lost our way a little bit. And since he's been back, we seem to have sorted ourselves out, and especially at the back, and we've not conceded many goals at all, and we're a bit more organised, should we say, when he's playing. So, yeah, I'd probably agree with you. Big Vic, McNally, and McFadzean, them 3 would be up there for me. And considering the injuries we've had, obviously O'Hare, that was a massive blow for us on Boxing Day when he got injured at Sheffield United, and then followed that with Palmer being out as well. Considering where we are, we've been fantastic. They're 2 important players for us, and now Jamie Allen's injured as well. Hopefully, he might be back in the next week or so. Hopefully, all going well. But
I'm hearing both of them will be back for Stoke. Panzo and Jamie Allen will be fit for Stoke. Barrett. That's what I'm
Well,
hearing.
well, that'll be good. That'll be good. The more bodies, the
Yeah.
better, really. That's what we want at the minute, especially if we're pushing for the playoffs. We can't afford any more injuries, to be honest, can we?
Keep your fingers crossed for tomorrow night, won't you? Because Big Vic's playing against Belgium.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Tomorrow
Yeah,
night.
we'll be watching that. Hopefully, it'd be nice to see him play, and nice to see him score. But we just don't want him to get injured because I don't know. If he gets injured,
I hope he's on the substitutes bench tomorrow night.
Is he playing tonight against Azerbaijan, or was that last night? I think
He's playing tomorrow night. They're against Belgium tomorrow night.
All right. I think they've
tomorrow night.
2 games before the.
Oh, right, okay.
They go back.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fingers
Okay.
crossed. He doesn't.
I'm just going to show you a couple more because people have been asking to show more photos for the
from Blackpool.
You
ain't got any of me on there, have you? No,
no, I don't think we got any of you. Unfortunately, that's a statue of Jimmy Armfield outside the ground. Actually, nice.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, that's where we started our part 2 live stream from.
I collared Miles by there on the way to the ground.
Well, there he is. He probably
yeah.
He was on the. He ended up at the Pleasure Beach on the Sunday. These are all us with our hats on in the ground. Fantastic.
Yeah. There's Will.
Will's there, yeah.
Whose hat did Matty Godden pick up?
The guy here, that second one in, the guy with the hat on, Neil.
Yeah.
It's his hat. Yeah. They threw it onto the pitch and he picked it up.
Yeah.
So he did throw it back though, but we didn't get it back.
Yeah, that's because he read the message on it. Kiss me quick.
There's me. You can see Martin's there as well.
Yeah.
I don't know where you were, Tom. Where were you, Tom? Were you behind us?
Do you want to know where I said? Right, I was right on the back row, the very back row at the back, in the middle, and I was standing on the seats. So I had a brilliant view. We were all standing on the seats, hanging on.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But I knew I was going to be one of the last to get out.
Yeah.
Ken, that was a nightmare, Ken, wasn't it? Trying to get out of there.
Oh, it was trying to get out of the nightmare. But what made me laugh? The copper was outside. He was saying, "Oh, coaches this way," and there was hardly anybody going towards the coaches because nobody was going home. Everybody was going the other way.
He sent me a mile. He sent me a mile out of my way when we come out of the ground.
Yeah, I said, "Oh, I'm not going home, mate. I'm staying."
He goes, "Oh, pubs on the way."
Yeah.
Well, we were going back to the bridge.
Yeah, it was strange because there's hardly any coaches in the car park because a lot of them, obviously, everybody was staying for the weekend. But I think out of the 4,000 fans that were there, I reckon at least 3,000. Do you reckon Tone stayed over?
Yeah, well, I mean, I walked in the karaoke bar, and this was at 9:30 at night. Yeah, it was all right, Tony. There's thousands of city in there. That was at 9:30 at night on the Saturday because everyone was celebrating the win.
It was mad. It was absolutely mental. But yeah, I mean, I'll just got a couple more. Joe Kelly, our support is actually just amazing. Quite agree. Absolutely fantastic. Well, I'm just before we wrap up, we'll wrap up because we're going to go and watch the rest of the England game. I suppose we can. Everybody's interested in that.
Still 1-0.
Still 1-0. I'm going to go and ask you where you think we're going to finish. And we'll start with Alan. Where do you think? Can we do it, Al? Can we get to the playoffs? Can we win them?
I really hope we do. I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to say. I mean, I was watching a few. I don't know if you know Matt Sky Blue. He was doing a bit of statistics on form and taking into account things. But we have the best form out of all the teams around us. So if that goes according to plan, happy days. We should be in there. And we were out of 3 different scenarios, we were still the one team in and around when you take the other teams like Watford, West Brom into account. That Millwall was the team that were dropping out, and Coventry was getting into 6 spots. So fingers crossed.
Do you think we can do it? So where do you think we finish?
Oh, jeez. I'd take 6th, I'd say.
That's 6th place, yeah?
Yeah.
That'll do me, Al. That'll do me. Tony, where can we go?
Well, I've booked a hotel in Watford for Saturday, 27th of May. The Holiday Inn. Yeah, the Holiday
right.
Inn. On Booking.com. Go and cancel it if we don't. But
that's all right.
I think they're going to get in there. I think we'll get into 6th place, and then we'll go up. We never lose when we finish 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually think
we've got a good record in the playoffs, haven't we? We've got a good record. I fancy, against anybody in a 2-legged game, without a doubt.
They might prove me wrong and play shit for the rest of the season, but I actually think we'll get in there.
Yeah, well, quite a bit. Mark, now then, Mark.
Come on, Mark.
What your head and your heart says.
I said 8th last year. I'm not going to change my mind on that. I still think it's going to be 8th. But we are capable. Yeah, I think we're capable of getting to top 6, definitely. But like I hate breaks in between. This Christmas break, the World Cup. We didn't do that well. I'm hoping that lightning doesn't strike twice. I really want us to get in the top 6, and I think we can do it. I think there's going to be a couple of games where I feel we're going to drop points. Stoke, as we spoke about earlier, will be a hard game. I think the games I worry about most on paper, I'd say, are Blackburn away, Borough away, and even Swansea away. Because Tony mentioned before, we always struggle against teams who play in white. I don't know why it is, but. It's about blooming time we went to grounds like Swan. I mean, if we want playoffs, we got to win. We've got to win all our games. Really, let's be honest. We can't afford to drop any points.
No,
but we got to win away from home as well. We won 6 already.
Do you reckon we need to win all of them?
No,
I think so. I'm sure we could have a few draws in there. No.
Well, there's 24 points up for grabs, isn't there? So.
Well, 81 points gets you. That's what we could get. 81 points if we win all our games. Okay. Yeah. 81 points would definitely guarantee playoffs. You'd be blooming unlucky not to get in it. I think
realistically, 72 last season or something that got you into the playoffs.
Yeah. I think on our day we're definitely good enough to get there. I'm always a bit half empty. You know what I'm like. And I'm going to go that approach because the reverse always happens. So I'm going to go 8th, but I'll be more than happy to be proven wrong.
I think other teams will drop points as well. To be fair,
I think they will because a lot of them are playing each other, aren't they?
Exactly.
So that's why I say we're going to get in.
Let's hope we do because it'll be brilliant. There's nothing more than seeing Coventry City back at Wembley in the playoff final. We can win another trophy at Wembley because that for me is just magic. It would be the magic scenario. It's been over 20 years since we've been in our Premier League club, and after all the rubbish and crap we've had to put up with for over 20 years, it would be great to see us back where we belong in the Premier League.
I have vivid memories of that guy holding up that board when we got relegated.
We'll be back.
We'll be back. Yeah,
we'll have to get him on the show. We'll have to get him on.
He might be dead. He might be dead.
I hope not. That's not nice.
He didn't seem that old.
Yeah, I know. He's probably about 50, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Well, probably 40, maybe. I don't know. Hopefully, he's still about.
He might be my age. If you're watching, come for me.
Well, I think personally, I think we can get in 6th place. I think definitely, no doubt. I think we can win out of the 8 games we've got left. I think we can win 6 of them, and we'll probably drop points in 2. But I think we can definitely win 6 of them games, and we'll probably drop points and maybe lose 2. And I think that'll be enough for us to get in that 6th place.
Yep.
I really do.
I think what Mark said, the first 2 games you've got out the 8 remaining, Stoke and Swansea would probably, they're, like you said, Stoke are on such good form and record away to Swansea. I mean, if we can get those 2 wins there, we're laughing.
And we tend to do that, don't we? Tend to play better against the better teams, if you like. I mean, it's the teams that we don't expect to. When we expected to win, we end up drawing, don't we? We did,
There's no easy game. None of them games are easy.
No, not in this league.
You might look at, say, Birmingham or Reading at home and you think, that's an easy 3 point. There's no easy game. I mean, Birmingham, for example, I think in the games we played against Birmingham Championship at home, we've always drawn 0-0 to them, haven't we? We haven't actually beaten Birmingham. We won at their place last season.
Yeah,
they won't be easy opposition, but I think we can do it. It's just I'm just a little bit pessimistic. I just feel like we're going to drop too many points. We're going to lose games that we don't expect. We expect to win, and I just don't think we're going to do it. But strange things have happened. You never know. We need a bit of luck. We need, dare I say, a couple of referee decisions go away. We need players to be fit. We can't afford injuries, because if we lose like Gyökeres, even like after this week, it's going to be hard. No doubts about it. So.
Yeah. Well, I'll say there's no easy games in this league. Absolutely, I agree with that. Joe Kelly, thanks for the message, Joe. He reckons 5th. Cov Andy reckons 6th. So there you go. So they're both quite confident. I'm quite confident. I think we're all reasonably confident. But I say you need a bit of luck. We can't afford to have any more injuries. So I've got too many as it is. We've had a fair share of injuries this year. I don't think we need any more. Thank you very much. And hopefully we can roll on after the international break and continue where we left off with that fantastic win over Blackpool and the confidence it should have brought all the players. Hopefully it will. Mark, you're back Sunday, are you, with your show Sunday?
Yeah. So yeah, we've got another show Sunday.
Yeah.
I've just got to think of an agenda to talk about. Might talk about.
I think we'll probably be talking maybe the best Cov City games and stuff like that. Maybe.
Yeah, best. I was thinking about best Cov City 11 or Cov City side. So whoever wants to do a listing and want to take part, and give us sort of names of players that were your favourite players growing up. Any good stories about your first game you went to Coventry City, anything like that, is all good as well. We'll have a good old chat on Sunday about CCS.
I'm sure we've all got favourite games and favourite players over the years. Tony's got a few, haven't you, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, funny, that lad that was doing the video, that lad that does the video in that you had on once. What was his name? He's put all the videos on his site from Coventry.
Mr. Blue Sky, yeah, Mr. Blue Sky, yeah.
Mr. Blue Sky.
Me and Martin music as well, does he?
Yeah, me and Martin was watching today, and there's quite a few of it on YouTube. Quite how you can get them up there. I can convert them, but
yeah.
But basically, there was highlights of with Brian Moore, Chelsea versus Coventry City in 1977. And we won 2-1. Ian Wallace and Barry Powell scored Coventry's goals. And then there's also highlights of Coventry at Highfield Road against Manchester City in 1974, 75.
Oh God, you are going back, yeah.
There's quite a lot. There's quite Brian Alderson scored in that, and Colin Steen.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of footage on there. Just let him know that if I don't know how he can get them off, but I can find them from a radio station. Yeah. So I'm sure he can. We'll have to have a word with him because we do speak to him quite regular. So he puts our goals on for us on our intros. We change them every month, put different goals on. So we might put a few old ones on there as well. We'll have a word with him. You can get them on. I think you can use them off YouTube, to be fair. You can just share. Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, I think you can. A couple of Feta. Good evening, Feta. Here's another one that was in Blackpool. I think we'll finish painfully 7th. Ooh. Oh dear, Feta. Oh dear.
He's been listening to it for a while.
Yeah. Right, okay, let's wrap it up then. Thanks, chaps, for coming on tonight and chatting about Cov City and chatting about where you think we'll finish, and we had a good old chat. Thanks, Alan, for your first night on. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Emil. It was a nice surprise when I seen your text.
I thought, I remember meeting you, and I took your details, and I thought, well, I'll use that eventually when I will come to it. So we'll get you back on again by all means, no problem. We'll get you back on again. And if I'm not on before then, hopefully you'll see us for the playoffs. Yes, hopefully, mate. Yeah. Tony, thanks very much again for coming on, mate. Yeah. Mark, I'll see you soon, Kenneth. Yes. And Mark, as always, thanks very much. I'll see you Sunday.
Yeah, speak on Sunday. Look forward to it.
Yeah. Okay. Right. That's about it then, ladies and gents, and everybody who's listening. And thanks to everybody who's sent all the messages in. We always try and read out as many as we can. There always is quite a few, to be fair. I say Mark will be back on Sunday with this show, and Miles will be back on the following Thursday. So hopefully you can join him then. England are still winning 1-0. I think it's half time, so we can half time, so we can 2-0. Yeah. Okay, we can all go and enjoy. Maybe enjoy the
best.
second.
I had a draw down for that.
Oh, did you have a it's only half time, so we can go and enjoy the second.
I had them for a loss.
Did you?
Well, you never know. Second half to come, mate. Second half to come. Right, thanks for joining us, chaps.
Cheers,
we're going to wrap up now, and it's a very good night from us all. Good night from Skegness from me.
Yeah.
I'll be back in Coventry the weekend. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Mark, and thanks, Tony. And we'll see you soon. Play up, Sky Blues.
Sky Blues.